Worried you don't have the budget for your window and door replacement and don't even know where to start?
Then this episode is a must-watch. Today, we're going to be breaking down the costs, style, types, and workflows for replacing your windows and doors.
Stay tuned.
Welcome to Stay Glassy, episode 11. I'm Maria.
And I'm Duncan.
We're your go-to pros from Newman Windows and Doors and Newman Garage Doors.
Helping you to make smart, stylish, and safe choices for your home.
That's right. So today in our episode, we are going to be talking about all the details with replacing your windows and doors. We're going to specifically be talking about and breaking down the costs involved with replacing your windows and doors. Time frames, finishing touches, you name it. Honestly, you do not want to miss this episode. But before we get into our episode, let's start by answering some of our homeowner questions. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's time for Glazed and Confused, where we answer real homeowner questions. Today, we're going to focus on questions around replacement of windows and doors. And of course, in our Glazed and Confused section, we always try to do one thing, or maybe a few things, but that is to stump Dunk. I don't know. Let's see if this is our chance, shall we?
Please try.
Okay. Let's get started then. Question number 1. Does it cost extra to haul away my old windows and doors?
It depends. So if you're dealing with a professional window company like us, it's included in our price to do the entire job, including taking away your old windows and doors. If you're doing part of this yourself, or you're maybe hiring a contractor, you need to ask the question because you can't just assume that it's included. And if it's not included, there is going to be some expense, especially the bigger the job is, the more stuff you've got to get rid of. And if you need a dumpster, they can be pretty pricey. Or if you need to take it to the dump, how are you going to get it there? You're talking about old, heavy windows and doors that have single pane, fragile glass in them. If they get dropped, they become very dangerous. So this is a very, very important question to cover with whomever you're doing business with.
Wow. Wow, great answer. And thank you for that. That's definitely something that you want to consider when you're budgeting for replacing your windows and doors, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Well, great answer. Thank you for that. Question number 2. What door materials are the most cost effective?
So I'm going to break this into 2 parts because when you say doors to a professional, we have to decipher, are we talking about entry doors or are we talking about patio doors? So I'll start with entry doors. Entry doors, the 3 main materials are steel, fiberglass, and wood. Maintenance is a huge, huge factor. So when you talk about cost effective, are we talking about initial cost? Or are we talking about overall cost and length of durability? So steel are very nice. We have a steel front door. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Yep. They're very expensive. Fiberglass are very, very durable. They look like wood. They come in thousands of options. And they're going to be middle of the road. And then wood doors can be inexpensive or they can be ultra expensive depending on what sort of door. The guy that makes them with, all of the branches and everything, including right into the handle, those are very expensive.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Let's talk about patio doors. Patio doors, again, you can do wood, you can do fiberglass, you can do vinyl. There are some steel patio doors, but they're not quite as readily available in this country as they are in Europe. Vinyl is the most common. It's the most cost effective and will last you for a lifetime. Fiberglass, especially when it comes to hinged French doors, fiberglass are way more durable and more rigid. And again, available in lots of different colors.
Wow. That is a lot of options. So I heard you say for patio doors, vinyl is the most cost effective. Did you happen to say which one was most cost effective for entry doors?
I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because if you go with a cheap wood door, you could call that the most cost effective. But when you're finishing it and refinishing it and it falls apart in 3 years, that's not really the most cost effective. So you have to take initial cost and longevity to come up with the best plan for you.
Holy wow. So many options to choose from. Well, all the more reason why it's really important to work with a company and a window and door specialist that knows their stuff, that can really break this down for you.
Yep.
That's for sure. Great answer. Thank you, Duncan. Question number 3. Does a good warranty make a window or door more expensive?
That is a very interesting question. Let me start by saying that some of the most expensive windows out there have the worst warranties. So not necessarily, but it is important that you know what your warranty covers. And here's where things do get expensive for people who don't read the fine print. Not all warranties cover the labor. So you'll get parts coverage, but it won't cover the labor. And the labor is the most expensive part. So it's not necessarily about the original purchase price being more expensive, but if you have a failure down the road and you've got to pay someone to come back out and put the new parts into your window, that will end up costing you a lot more money than a warranty that covers parts and labor up front. Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense. And that's absolutely wild to think about, that you've got product warranty from the manufacturer, which I'm assuming every manufacturer is going to be a little bit different, and then labor warranty.
Not to confuse, there's installation labor warranty, but there's the warranty of the labor on the product. And if the product labor to install that new part is not covered, that's where you'll spend the most amount of money.
Wow. Wow. Well, then it is very important to make sure that you read your warranty, or to make sure that you at least talk about it with your window and door specialist. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. You always want to make sure to protect yourself.
Any other questions?
Well, unfortunately, we did not stump Dunk, but I think that's going to be it for today.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Just as a reminder, visit our Newman website, our Stay Glassy page, and you can actually submit questions yourself. So that's newmanwindows.com/Stay Glassy. And at the bottom of the page, after all of our episodes and all of our little snippets of information, there is a form fill there, and you can go ahead and fill it out, and you can submit some of your questions, and maybe you'll be featured on our next episode.
Nice.
Would be kind of fun, don't you think?
I do.
All righty. Well, shall we pop over to a whiteboard and get into some of the cost breakdown of replacing your windows and doors?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. Should we see if Savvy got everybody in order?
She usually does.
Well, she's bossy, like someone else we know. No. We might do this for a while. All right, let's go head over to the whiteboard. All right. Well, it looks like Savvy set up our whiteboard for us. It looks amazing. So let's get into the costs, the breakdown, all the details of the costs for replacing your windows and doors. I'll handle writing on the board. You tell me the info. How's that sound, Duncan?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
What's up first?
All right, section number 1. Let's talk about the different window and door types, starting off with windows. So type number 1, horizontal slider.
Horizontal slider, probably the most commonly used in Southern California. Slides left to right, right to left. Average cost, $700 to $1,200.
$700 to $1,200.
Yes.
Got it.
Now, we are talking about installed prices here.
Okay, good to know.
Okay.
Good to know.
What's
All right.
next?
Next up, single hung.
Single hung. Up and down from the bottom, not the top. That would be a double hung. $750 to $1,000 on average.
Okay. 750 to 1,000. Got it. Next up, a casement window.
Casement windows hinge from the corner and project out. They can go left, they can go right, they can be double. You can imagine there's a large range in there depending on whether it's a single casement or a double casement. So the range there is $700 to $1,400.
Got it. All right, casement window at $700 to $1,400. Next up, we've got bay and bow windows.
Bays and bows. So a bay window is a three-sided window that projects out, doesn't come with a roof. Think San Francisco, Victorian look, pretty expensive. Bows tend to be 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 segments. So they're less angular and usually wider. So we're talking anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 on average for those.
Woo!
A lot of work involved.
Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, well, I mean, we've talked about our different window types before in previous episodes, so we know that there's a lot of construction work that goes into that, which makes sense why they're so expensive. All right, next type, garden window.
The garden window, found most commonly in the kitchen, behind the sink. It projects out. It allows you to sometimes let your kitchen counter flow into an extended window with shelves and possibly some ventilation on the sides. You're talking roughly $4,000 to $5,000.
Oh, all right.
Installed.
You said 4 to 5?
4 to 5.
All right, 4 to 5,000 for a garden window. All right, last up, picture window.
Picture window. So I've been doing this for a long time, and if I had a nickel for every time I've heard somebody talk about a plate glass window, they usually think they're talking about a picture window. So a picture window just doesn't open. It's usually a nice view window, and obviously they can vary tremendously from this size to way bigger.
Yep.
Average size that we run into, you're looking at $500 to $1,000.
Okay, $500 to $1,000. Okay, so you got your most popular window, horizontal slider, somewhere between $700 and $1,200. Let's see, next up, okay, picture. I mean, it's a beautiful window, right? $500 to $1,000. Then you got like a casement single hung, looks like it's somewhere between $700, $750 to $1,400, $1,000 there. And then our most expensive type window, obviously because of all the construction you mentioned and the difficulty with installing them, garden at $4,000 to $5,000 and a bay and bow at $5,000 to $7,000. Wow, that's amazing. That's a ton of information. Well, are there any doors that maybe you want to highlight?
I think we should.
I think we should too. So why don't we erase the board and do this again for doors? Be right back. Whiteboard is clean. Let's break down the costs for doors. Duncan, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, entry doors.
Entry doors. Think the front of your house, the door that is the nicest door in your house usually, and it is the entrance into your castle. Average door that we sell for an entry door range from $4,000 to $8,000.
All right.
But please understand that they can go way higher than that.
Okay.
8 is not the upper limit. That's the average.
Okay, so 8,000
plus.
Plus. You need two pluses?
2 or 3 plus.
Okay, we got 2 pluses.
Yep.
So entry doors anywhere between 4,000 and 8,000 plus. Sky's the limit. All right, next up, sliding patio.
Sliding patio. This is the most commonly used door in your home, especially in Southern California. In the summer, statistics show that we use our sliding doors about 40 times a day. Average price, $2,500 to $4,500.
$2,500 to $4,500?
Yep.
All right.
The best bang for the buck.
Okay, perfect. Absolutely. So next up are French doors.
Yes. Otherwise known as snobby patio doors.
Or beautiful doors.
Yes, or beautiful doors. French doors range, again, on average, between $5,000 and $7,000. Installed.
Installed. Okay.
Installed.
So French doors averaging somewhere between 5 and 7,000. Got it. How about the very popular bifold multi-slide doors?
So again, depending on manufacturer and depending on bells and whistles, average price $7,000 to $15,000. But again, you can put a couple of pluses next to those depending on what you're trying to do and how big you want to go. Those are available in large sizes.
Okay. All right. So we got the bifold and multi-slide doors somewhere between 7,000 and 15,000 plus. All right. Last up are interior doors. What are we looking at there?
So interior doors, it's a tricky one because depending on the material that you use, the difference between hollow core, solid core, the finishes and the height and the width and the moldings, there's a huge range. But interior doors on average, $350 to $1,500.
Wow. All right. So that's definitely a big range, $350 to $1,500 for interior doors. Okay, so we've definitely, got some a big range here. You got your sliding patio, which actually seems, and you mentioned is the most popular, somewhere between $2,500 and $4,500. Of course, then you've got your French doors, the snobby doors, you like to say, 5,000 to 7,000. Bifold multi-slide, beautiful doors, 7 to 15,000 plus. Interior doors, 350 to 1,500. Lots of ranges there. And of course, your entry door, which is the statement to your house. Big, 4,000 to 8,000 plus.
And I always like to tell people when you think about your entry door, don't think about it being the entrance to your house. It's the entrance to your castle.
I love it. That is so sweet. Well, that is amazing, breaking down section 1 of the types of windows and doors that we have. I think at the end of the day, it's really important to make sure that you talk to your window and door specialist because there is just a huge range here and so much more to talk about when it comes to breaking down the cost of your windows and doors. You ready to get into the next section?
I am.
Let's do it. Okay, section number 2. Let's break down the costs of the different kinds of materials when it comes to replacing your windows and doors. So we've got a list here of all the different types of materials for windows and doors. And what do you say we try a little game?
Sure.
Okay. How about I rank them in what I think is the least expensive to most expensive, and you can tell me how I did.
Okay.
All right, let's give this a try.
What are the stakes?
Filet mignon. Let's see, porterhouse.
Yeah.
Not those kinds of steaks?
Yeah. Those sound pretty tasty.
I don't know. Hopefully just that I do a good job. Okay. All right, so let's see. I got wood, vinyl, fiberglass, aluminum, composite, and Fibrex. I'm going to go with the least expensive being vinyl. Then I'm going to say, I think it's wood. Let's go aluminum, Fibrex, and then, Fibrex, and then fiberglass. What do you think? How'd I do?
I like my steak medium rare. So how about that? Let's just say you lost. Okay, where would you like to start?
Would you like the pen?
How about if I just tell you?
Okay. You just tell me.
So which one would you like to talk about first? Let's rank them in order.
Okay, you tell me the actual order then.
Aluminum would typically be the most cost-effective type of material and window. There are some exceptions. There are some manufacturers of aluminum that are extremely expensive. They make very large doors and they are very expensive. But if we're just talking about the average type of window, aluminum would be your beginner.
Okay.
Vinyl would be number 2.
Number 2.
Yep.
All right.
Again, depending on colors and options that you can have, they can become expensive, but if we're talking base to base, that would be correct.
Okay. What's next?
What gets confusing here is the wood part. So wood could be next, or it could be at the end. So let's just hold on to wood for a second.
Okay.
So let's go with fiberglass
Okay.
as number 3. Fiberglass is really good, can look like wood, can operate like wood, and zero maintenance. That's a great product. Let's go with composite as the next one.
You mean a 4?
You know what? No, let's say not. Let's say not, because it's actually very, very expensive for what it is. But the wood one still throws it off. So let's keep it as number 4. Let's put the 4 over here. And then would you put a question mark next to the wood?
You got it.
Okay. Wood can be, entry-level wood windows can be a reasonable price. But with wood, you have every price level imaginable. Some of the most expensive windows I've ever seen are wood.
Okay.
So it's really hard to rank wood without a question mark, because it could be less expensive than vinyl, or it could be more expensive than composite. But composite / Fibrex is always very, very expensive and isn't necessarily worth the money for the environment that you're in.
Okay. Got it. Got it. Makes sense. So I didn't do as great as I was hoping for. Looks like we've got aluminum. This is in terms of materials. So we're breaking down the cost of the materials of your replacement windows and doors, right? So aluminum looks like it's going to be your most lowest cost. There we go. Lowest cost material, followed by vinyl, then fiberglass, and then we've got this Fibrex as the last one. And then we've got this ever elusive wood type material that is just kind of somewhere. Right? That's what I'm getting from you.
It's available in every price range possible.
Every price range possible. Okay, so wow. I mean, we just talked about window types. Now we're talking about materials. Again, so many things, so many different variables that go into this. So really, really important that you talk to your window and door specialist about this. Keep in mind, just because it's the most expensive doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best. It really depends on your particular situation, I would say, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, shall we get ready for section 3?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, section 3, we're going to be breaking down the labor costs with the replacement of your windows and doors. So there's a lot of variables. You wanna talk about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. When we were going through the prices earlier of all of the windows and types and doors, those prices we gave with installed prices. But what I thought we would talk about is what makes the difference in the cost of labor on your project, the variables that can increase your price. So in no particular order.
I'm going to write these down.
Okay.
By the way.
The location of the window or door. A second story, a third story, a fourth or a fifth. As you can see, the higher we go up the building, the more time it takes to do that. Going up and down ladders, trying to carry heavy equipment, and trying to caulk a window on the 3rd floor is a lot harder than doing it on the 1st floor, right? So you've got location of the window.
Okay.
Size of the window or door. Installing a 5-foot patio door is a lot quicker than doing a 16-foot door. The amount of panels and things like that.
When you mean panels, you're talking about that bifold, multi-slide, those panels?
That's a whole other level. That's a whole other level of labor. No, I'm talking about a 2-panel door versus a 3-panel door versus a 4-panel door.
Got it.
We can talk about multi-slides while we're at it and bifolds. Depending on the width, will also depend on how many panels you have.
Okay.
And now you're talking about the difference of framing for the thickness of the wall.
Okay.
A patio door usually fits into a 2x4 wall. If you're putting in a 20-foot bifold or multi-slide, you're going to have a pocket of wall that's 14, 16, 18, 24 inches deep. That's a whole different level of labor than doing a 6-foot patio door.
Sure. Okay. So again, that's all about size. Can affect your labor costs.
Yep.
Okay.
So location, size. Let's talk about the trim. So a regular installation, fairly easy. Let's talk about an average retrofit window. It takes an hour. So the cost is associated with an hour's labor. If you're going to add tricky, expensive stain grade moldings, where you're going to have to slow down and do some really nice carpentry, that is going to add quite a bit of time to your installation.
Got it.
And you can have that with windows or doors.
Got it. Okay. All right. Perfect. So for the effects or the, breaking down labor costs, it looks like we've got some variables that can increase or decrease your costs, right? In terms of where the location is, your size of what it is, the product that you're installing, having removed and then having installed, and then some trim. Sounds good. All right.
And there are others.
I'm sure there are others. Well, let's go ahead and get ready for section 4.
Okay.
All right, let's get into section 4 of breaking down the costs for your windows and doors. So we're talking about structural costs, and this is when the big bucks can really start adding up. Can you talk to me a little bit about that one?
Yeah. When you decide to go bigger, especially in the width, you're getting into structural changes, and that's where labor becomes expensive. So if you have a 6-foot patio door and you decide that you would like to put in a 16-foot multi-slide instead, or a 16-foot bifold, you cannot use the same structure that you have. The header that you have will end at the sides of your 6-foot door, and once you start moving that wall and opening it up, you have no support above that door. So you have to start again, and you've got to put in bigger headers. Depending on how wide you go, the bigger the width, the bigger the header. This needs architectural drawings. It needs structural engineering. It's got to be approved by the building department. Then you're going to get into structural tie downs to keep up to date with all of the new changes that there are to the California Building Code. And all of this adds to time and labor and your pocketbook. The other thing, that people don't realize is when you put in a bay or a bow window, they don't come with a top and a bottom. So you have to basically build them into the house. So you're either building a roof, or you're framing above and below, or you're stuccoing above and below. And again, you're adding quite a bit of labor. So the costs of these things go up and up.
So that's interesting. You just mentioned right now stucco or framing, right? You don't think about that, but I suppose that's going to be something to consider too, potentially.
And if you're doing framing and you're doing stucco, what else will you need?
Yeah, drywall, all that stuff. Yeah,
texture, painting.
Yeah.
It can affect your flooring. So a project can grow and grow and grow.
Massive, massive. So that's why we started off by saying with this section for structural costs involved, it's the big bucks. And it really comes down to the fact that you're changing the size, right? Either it's big and you're going smaller, or it's small and you want to go massive. Again, talking about those bifold doors or multi-slide doors, which are incredible.
But please keep one thing in mind. Beauty isn't cheap. So it can be worth it.
I'm just kidding. That is true. Well, wow. That's a lot. Again, huge bits of information, lots of details. Make sure you talk to your specialist about it. All right, shall we get ready for our next section, section 5?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. All right, section 5, finishings. So after your windows and doors are installed, you don't think about the finishing touches, but they do add to the overall sort of, I suppose, value, I guess, of the replacement of your windows and doors and overall making your home look good. So they are very, very important. They're going to add some costs. So shall we get into those?
Let's talk about trim.
Trim. Okay.
So trim is where you can spend quite a bit of money. It's the carpentry. It's the finish carpentry. It's a skilled job. And for any professional window company, or door company, the finishes is where the skill and the beauty is. And if you do spend some extra money on your casings and trims, the end product will just look absolutely amazing.
Wow.
On top of casings and trims, you've got painting and staining. The difference between paint grade and stain grade products and trim is different. If you do paint grade, you can hide some errors with some caulking. Stain grade, no room for errors. You've got to make sure that everything is perfect. Staining looks beautiful. That's why most furniture is stained. Then you've got patching and painting and stucco repair.
Okay.
So depending on what you're doing, you may have some additional extra labor and finishes that need to be done. So all of these things can really add up and change the scope of your job.
Okay. How about, I'm just thinking about like an entry door. What about like hardware options?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Sky's the limit with hardware.
Okay.
You can spend, $100 on hardware, or you could spend $8,000 on hardware for the same door.
Okay.
So yeah, very, very, very wide range of dollars to be spent on hardware.
Okay, perfect. So let's see. So when you talk about the finishing touches to your beautiful new windows and doors, you've got things like the trim, you've got paint or staining that might need to be done, you've got stucco, and I guess I should say like drywall, things like that. So drywall, yep, we put that there. So stucco and drywall. And then, of course, any sort of hardware that you might want to get for, say, an entry door, or any of your doors, right? Because you have those options. Okay, anything else when it comes to finishing?
I'm sure there are, but I can't think of them right now. We covered a lot.
Well, you really know that you've worked with a great company if they talk to you about finishing, right? Because that's the end job, and that's going to take your house just to that next level, to that wow factor, to that ROI that you're really hoping to get. So really, really important, wouldn't you say?
I would.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. There was a lot of really, really great information in this episode about breaking down the different costs involved with replacing your windows and doors. A lot of really, really good information. But what do you say we go see if we can find Savvy?
The four-legged friend?
She's probably in the warehouse getting ready for her safety tip. So let's go head over that way. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Safety with Savvy. Another safety tip from our favorite tail-wagging safety dog, Savvy. Are you ready? Are you ready? What did you bring for us today? All right, let's take a look at this video. So do you see what's happening here?
Yes, it's
It takes a while to figure it out. Now I get it.
back to front, and that would not keep anybody from breaking into your house.
Oh, that is not good. Okay, so what happened with this video?
Well, they're going to have to do that again, so it's going to be twice as expensive as they thought it was to begin with, and that's complete incompetence.
Okay.
Complete incompetence, people not knowing what they're doing, and yeah, watch out for that.
Yeah.
That's a costly mistake.
Right. So you're basically saying that they're going to have to, this was installed back to front, so they're going to have to redo it completely and install it all over again?
And they probably won't be able to install that door again necessarily because, well, even if they do, the hinges are terrible. All you got to do is take a nail and pop those up and you could walk away with that door to the outside of a home.
So it's a safety risk too?
Oh, it's terrible. That's barbaric.
Oh my goodness. Savvy, that was a good video.
Savvy, you would not approve, would you? No, you would not approve.
She gave a definite, absolutely no way.
Thumbs down.
That's it.
Do you have a thumb? Not really.
No, she doesn't have thumbs, but she's trying. Huh. I'll point
If she did, she would do a better job of installing a door.
Okay, there you go. All right, well, there you go. So basically, you got a situation where it looks like this installation took place. You think you got a good door, but it's a very costly mistake because it was installed incorrectly. You have to do it all over again, possibly even get a new door. So definitely can be expensive. Well, thank you, everyone. Thanks for the safety tips, Sav. She's looking a little not excited today. Sav, are we excited? Yes, we are. All right. Well, for now, we'll sign off. So thank you so much for watching. Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
So, Duncan, what is your one key takeaway from today's episode?
You know, when you try and put it into one thing, it is be aware of the things that make your project more expensive. And it's not about not spending more money. It's about you choosing where your money goes and you getting the value that you're looking for and things that are going to make your life better or make you happier or make you more pleased when you pull up to your home or you're inside your home and the way that things look because of the choices that you made.
I love it. That is just fantastically well said, I must say. Isn't that the truth? I mean, you know, working with a really super professional company that can really guide you through all of that from, start all the way to the finish. In fact, actually finishing the job to look spectacular makes all the difference in the world, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. All right. Well, so our next episode, do you know what it is?
Nope.
Okay. Our next episode 12, we are going to be talking about value. Do windows and doors, replacing them, actually increase the value of your home? Stay tuned to find out. It's going to be a good one. In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share some stories with us. In fact, go to our Stay Glassy page on our website. That is newmanwindows.com/Stay Glassy. Head on down to the bottom of the page there. You can fill out a form and you can share really anything with us. You can have a question for our Glazed and Confused section, see if you can stump Dunk. You can put in something for Savvy, maybe a safety video you'd want us to feature, or you can just send us a message about any questions that you might have.
She also likes dog treats.
She loves dog treats, yes. That's right. Just always know that we are here for you. In the meantime, everyone, we're signing off now, so stay classy.
And stay glassy.